Thank you, Vivek, for educating us about ILF&S. In fact, the Government of India, Ministry of Textile, is spending around 1,920 crore rupees for the skill development. So, like Vivek has informed, that the employment is also assured. I think we should all take the benefit of the skill developments. Thank you. Now, I'll request, I'll just open the floor for question answers. So if anybody has any question, kindly raise your hand and introduce yourself, and then you can ask question to the panelists, please. Thank you.
Good morning. I am R.K. Vij from Indorama. I'll ask question from Mr. Beda. Mr. Beda, you have shown that in India the manufacturing cost comparative to other countries are increasing. But I was going through a paper comparing that if you see India spinning sector cost is suppose 100, weaving is 100, then China is 138 in spinning sector and weaving sector is 111, Indonesia is 110 and weaving sector is 99, Bangladesh is 104 and weaving sector is 87, Pakistan is 101 and weaving sector is 110. So if you compare all these countries, then we are more competitive in the cost.
Sir, that's an interesting point. When I referred, my reference is specific to clothing manufacturing than the textile sector as a whole. Spinning, of course, we are competitive, and it's a very well-known fact across, everybody knows that. But when you come to downstream, and especially clothing sector as such, we are there, not there. Certain categories, buyer feel that we are cost competitive. Certain categories, they feel that we are not cost competitive because some of the other competitors are almost 20%, 15% economical than our pricing points as such. So when you're looking at bulk buyers, then in those categories we tend to fall behind. And that's why huge capacities are not coming up. And that kind of investments are happening in some of the other countries as such. So it is limited to garment manufacturing per se. Yes, spinning sector, undoubtedly, we are very strong.
Any other question, please? Oh, sorry.
Hi, I'm Amarjeet. This is a question for Mark Astley. Mark, more than a question actually, just a clarification. You'd mentioned in your presentation about partnering holistically with your customer. Can you clarify that, please? Maybe give us some examples from your experience.
Yeah. Okay, thank you for that question. I think a lot of the times, because we're still everybody's in their silo, including the buyers, your merchandisers are talking to merchandisers, your production people are talking internally, your quality people are perhaps talking to the technologists of the buyers. I don't think everybody is getting a full picture of what's going on. And when that happens, everybody just sticks to their own sub-optimized goals. So nobody has a real goal in their mind that they have to have this product at this quality on this shelf on this day. Everybody's just going for what they perceive is their goal. So we need the customer, and I'm talking about, say, Tesco or Next or Marks and Spencer or Walmart or whoever. We both need to understand what's going on with each other. So we both should be having a good dialogue about, okay, if I give you this order, when do we receive it, and what are the key critical paths within that, and so that we both understand. And if we divert from that critical path, what is the consequences? At the moment, I feel as though we're trying to, if I'm sitting on this side, I'm feeling as though the factories are always then trying to tell me something else. They're trying, well, we can't do it. Machines failed, or what can I do? The workers have gone for Diwali and they've not come back, and all that. So we just get these stories all the time. So what we need is to understand what's going on. I mean, you know, one of the classic stories I really don't like is it's monsoon. I can't ship because it's monsoon. Good God, monsoon's been coming for 5,000 years. Can we not plan this? Can we, the buyer, and I look at my own people, and can we, as the buyer, not work with our suppliers to make sure that monsoon doesn't affect us? But every bloody year it does. Sorry, does that give you an indication? Yeah. Thank you.
I think let Dr. Vera should add something to this, please.
Just a small example, and there can be hundreds of examples of this kind. But the idea is to be able to sit with the buyers as a team, really understand their priorities for coming, say, 3 years, explain the challenges, what you have, and how you can really value add to each other. And there are a couple of examples from this subcontinent. A large manufacturer had a situation of seasonality, and few months they had very difficult time because they had not much orders, and suddenly the orders peaked. And when they looked at the order placing patterns of the buyer and one of our partners, and they realized that the buyers were placing orders in sort of small chunks, but they were placing orders. Okay, so what they requested, if these orders you're placing with 10 vendors, so you're taking decisions, but you're placing them with 10 vendors. Should you place these orders first with us, okay, all together, or whatever we can do, we'll really appreciate. And should you do so, we'll be able to offer you on our normal price 4% discount. Because they did the calculation, and it worked well for both. Because buyers were anyway buying, but buying from 4 or 5 vendors, and these people had empty capacity. As a result of that solution, now you had orders coming in time, you were able to sort of utilize your capacity, buyer got 4% discount, and you utilize your capacity. So similarly, should you sit together and really discuss a long-term plan and the challenges, then solutions can be found. Have to be thought of with an open mind. And again, what you really rightly said is, within the organization also we have to have clarity of roles and a common goal vision as such. And solutions come out, they're very, very simple, non-complicated, practical, as long as the mind is open to find a solution. And these are commercially viable solutions also, as long as also we understand the roadmap. We understand the customer and customer's customer, we understand their business, you can propose solutions. Sometimes solution might not come from there, but you propose a solution which is viable and it's economically viable. People will jump at it. See, this is where, and I understand your point. It may happen. I'm not ruling out that possibility. This is where the long-term strategic relationship comes into picture. If I have credibility with that buyer, that I always, number one, I'm a reliable supplier, my on-time performance is good, my quality is good, and they do consider me as one of their top suppliers, they will think 4 times. And this has been maybe cliched and has been talked about again and again. Cost of being disloyal to your supplier must become very, very high. That means, how do you make your customer dependent on you? Chaska lagna chahiye ki inke paas hi jana hai, because they are something special. They offer me a service which others do not give. And it's not just going to remain constant, so you have to keep on evolving constantly as such. But I feel that where you have long-term relationship, buyers are willing to share 3 years of plan. Of course, there are tough negotiations, but these are business negotiations, and they make sense. It's possible, you know. So you got to be prepared. You're a business person, you know the risks and so on, but with the open mind, if your team does the calculation analysis, then you know at what level can I clinch this deal, which is a long-term deal. It's possible. Buyers are looking for ideas actually. They don't have ideas. They're also overworked. Give them solutions, make their life easy. Yeah, make their life easy, and they will be happy. The whole idea is, how do you make your customer's life easy? Because here you can do it at a relatively low cost. Now, Mr. Kesar did that exercise today. We know how to solve the riddles and puzzles. Okay, we can solve those. They can be a solution. Hope I've sort of given some perspective.
Thank you, Dr. Vera. Vinod?
Moguz already mentioned my name. Hello? Yeah. So that's what my name is. Add Kapoor to it. Now I have a question for Mark. And this is in relation, Mark, I'm sitting here. You're looking left, I'm in the center. Thanks. Mark, my question is to you in connection with the last slide that you showed us, in which you came to the end part of the product where the customer comes, picks up the product, a quality product, available at the right time, right season, and happy with the price. And you said that she's even willing to pay, a few pennies or pounds or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And you said as far as the compliance is concerned, she's least bothered.
Sorry?
She's least bothered. She's not worried
No,
about
I
the
didn't, I didn't say that.
I thought I heard that.
No, what I said
Compliance, she's just not
was
concerned.
she doesn't want to know.
She doesn't want to know.
She doesn't want to know.
So is she bothered that she doesn't
Yes,
want
she's
to know?
bothered. If she finds out that the jamu has been polluted because of Tesco suppliers, she will be upset.
Okay.
But she doesn't really want to know that. She trusts the brands that will not happen. So she is bothered, and if she finds out, she will be upset. But she doesn't. She wants to buy that product guilt-free.
Okay, then I misunderstood
That's fine.
that part.
Good for clarifying.
Because when you said that she doesn't want to know, now what I wanted to say was that the apparel industry has grown, and it has grown in the right direction.
Yeah.
You're getting good quality product.
Yeah.
You're getting it at a good price.
Excellent.
And the manufacturers are fully aware of their responsibilities.
Yeah.
Their responsibilities to the worker, and their responsibility to their government, and whatever it is, the compliance from the tax and other points of view. I'm really surprised to the extent the buyer sitting God knows where is so keenly interested in the compliance part. I think that should be left to the industry. Take a certificate. Hold on before you answer. Take a certificate from the owner that whatever compliances you want, he's complying with, right? And do a compliance if you want for your satisfaction, but don't police us. Don't send your people in left, right, and center, giving notes and chits and your cards to the various employees that if you are not paid or you've done 1 hour extra, come and report to us. I think that policing is a very bad thing that's happening here. And I would ask everybody sitting over here that if they agree with me, to put up their hands. Because that's a fact. We are responsible people. You represent Tesco. Tesco is a very big company. Tesco matches H&M. Tesco matches Walmart. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Please, since that you are here, I'm using this platform to praise you that kindly you've got to trust us as we trust you. When you put a claim on us, at times, we don't get there to see how many pieces were really right or wrong. We just accept your claim because we trust you. And I think this is a very important part that I've been wanting to address at various forums. And this is just one forum because I've got you there, Mark. I hope I haven't cornered you, but I hope you'll help us in this situation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Very good. Well, thanks everybody for putting your hand up. Good. I mean, you're making a good point, but I don't think we're there yet. There isn't that level where we can say, all right, that's it now. We don't need. We can leave it to SGS and ITS to do, or SEDEX to do one audit, and that covers everybody, because it's not working for us. I mean, if I come away from India, so let's not get into India, but if we look at Bangladesh, I mean, it's a disaster there. It's a disaster, and the brands are suffering. Every week there's some kind of media coverage of the brands in Bangladesh. Nobody is saying, well, it's the factories in Bangladesh that are doing wrong, and they're creating all these problems. Everybody's saying it's the brands. So, and I hope the point I make is we've got huge brands. They cost a lot of money, and they could easily the value of that brand could easily go away very quickly. And unfortunately, in South Asia, we need to be extremely vigilant. It still happens. And what are the things I would challenge factories here in India about is that I think you're very good at getting the accreditation. You can pass all the audits. That's no problem. But it's then keeping that system that you put in place to pass that audit, keeping that going 365 days a year. And to be honest, I'm not convinced about that. I see a lot of good factories in India that do it, but I see a hell of a lot of factories that can't do it for 365 days a year. They can't do it. It collapses. Even now, child labour is still an issue for me. It's not because there's children in the factories, it's because that sometimes, as you do in this part of the world, you get people who look very young, and then when you go to a factory and say, can you prove the age of that person there, they can't do it. Or they make such a fist of it, nobody believes what they're saying. It's just a mess. So I understand what you're saying, and I want to be there, because I want to get on with business. I want to develop business in India and Bangladesh and Sri Lanka and Pakistan. It's my region. I want that to go. But we still got a long way to go yet to get the compliance and the qualities right. Still a long way to go. Sorry.
Yes, sir.
Good morning.
Hello. My question is it okay? To Dr. Beda. You've been involved in a lot of trainings in the apparel industry, in different regions too, and factories of all sizes. What are some of the basic challenges you face in these trainings? Obviously, I would presume when I saw your graph, you always went from X% to X%, considering some factories were a little ahead when you started. But I'm sure when you, let's say, train 5 factories at one time on the same level, you don't achieve the same results everywhere. What are the challenges and what are the key points that you really feel that the industry needs to keep a watch on to take the best possible advantage of the training?
Thank you, Tony ji, for that opportunity. It's now a fair amount of experience of working with, as Tony ji said, large and small companies, doing variety of products and so on. And we found a few things which really make or break a program. And again, I'm putting a lot of onus on the shoulders of the senior management. But the one thing which really makes a lot of difference is the either involvement stroke commitment of the senior management. When I say commitment, one is financial commitment, you pay the bill, and that's a different issue. But the involvement of senior management into the program through briefing their team that this program is very, very important for us, and it's a part of our company's strategy. It's not an optional program as such. And through this is what we want to achieve, and you have my support. Yeah, you have my support, and we will do it together. In the companies where this was visible, either through physical presence of the owner or through message that everybody knew कि ये program करना है, because there has been internal briefing even though the boss was not there, and that made a huge amount of difference, because then the managers were not confused कि is it an optional program or not. And so that was one that made a difference for a small company, large company, and otherwise. The more mature companies were able to pick up faster and move, but their relative progress was less because they are at a higher platform. The companies which are at a lower end but had interested management made huge progress because their base was low, but they did not have much resistance. Sometimes some larger companies, so-called more sophisticated companies, had tough time making any progress because it was very, very difficult to break the senior management's resistance or ego, for want of a better word, because they felt that they were already good, and they did not want to really change the systems as such. But I would still say a very clear communication or agreement between the system that we are going for this program, not because the buyer is saying, not because only Tony ji wants it, but the entire team has a very clear commitment, kisko karne ka hai, and we will make it happen. So that, if that is there, I found that most factories, small, large, and big, had some very, very good improvements as such. Sorry, I'm putting a lot of, again, pressure or a responsibility on the top management, but wherever we got it, Amarjit is sitting here, and he was involved in his program. He was personally there. great amount of improvements came in. Akshay was involved in his factory, is there, great amount of improvement comes in. So when the team has a clarity, then their body language, their response, their involvement becomes much different, and we made a lot of progress.
Thank you, Dr. Vera, for clarifying. I'm getting indications from Kesarji that we are short of time, and I think we have already crossed 11:30. Though we started 5 minutes late, so I think we should put the end to the session. Thank you.